Hey friends, I know we're looking at some grass right now, but believe me, we won't be spending a whole lot of time on it. We are moving out to sea, and we're going to take a look at the couple different versions of Bulstrode that we have for the Thomas Wooden Railway line. Bulstrode is an interesting character. I really like him. He's one of my favorite one-off characters, and I love any type of merchandise that we get about him. However, as you're going to see, the merchandise that we have of Bulstrode is not always the best. And throughout this video, I'm going to show you guys a couple different versions, and I'll let you guys have the final say, but you will definitely get to hear my say as to which version is the best. So for those who don't know, Bulstrode was only featured in one Season 4 episode called Special Attraction, which in my opinion is just a classic Thomas and Friends episode. It is just great. Bulstrode is a barge. He is highly disagreeable. I mean, he's just a pain to work with. There's no other way to put it. Percy kind of takes it out on him. He dumps some cars on him, and then it's somehow, I guess it's like Bulstrode's fault somehow that the cars landed in him, but he gets put on a beach. And then for the rest of the model series, his, I don't know, his model was seen in the background a couple of times, but they took the face off, which was kind of weird. So Bulstrode technically only appeared in one episode, but we did get some merchandise of Bulstrode. However, it was a bit hard to find. Back in 2002, I want to say, there was a traction rail set released called Down by the Docks. And one of the cool pieces of exclusive merchandise that came in that was this Bulstrode, the Barge engine. And it was kind of a reference to the episode because Percy was included and, you know, Cranky was there. And obviously, I don't think Cranky was featured in the episode. But, you know, there were some points of, you know, it was Bulstrode worked at like a dock area and stuff like that. So, you know, it made sense. But I remember seeing that set when it was released and thinking it was so cool, because I immediately wanted a Bulstrode figure toy. I remember recreating Special Attraction as a kid, but the only like water vehicle I had was the Soder Bay tugboat. So unfortunately, the Soder Bay tugboat had to play that role. So Bulstrode was included there, and then as time went on, he was actually featured in a couple more packs. I got my Bulstrode from the Lighthouse Drawbridge. It was a bridge, and it opens up, and Bulstrode came with that. And I remember getting that around 2008. Because I did not have it when my series started. However, I want to say maybe around, I can't believe I remember this, I think around Season 5 of my series is when I introduced that bridge and Bulstrode to my series. And he was also featured in a couple of other packs, like with Cranky and Salty, and so they kind of threw him in a couple of different places, but they never sold Bulstrode just by himself, and as of the making of this video, that's still the case. So anyway, let's talk about this first version of Bulstrode. I want to point out the face, very, very accurate. I think a grumpy face would have been kind of cool, but when you watch Special Attraction, Bulstrode has a number of face masks, and some of them are just terrifying. I don't remember being scared as a kid, but you obviously can tell, like, oh, he's a grumpy guy. However, this shocked facial expression is supposed to represent, I'm thinking of the moment when the cars are falling in to his barge area. There's a lot of great detailing on Bulstrode here. He's unlike any other model in the Thomas Wooden Railway line. We have his main cab area, we have his face, we also have this area we can actually store some things. So when you're not busy, you know, dumping rocks and troublesome trucks into Bulstrode's hole, he can actually transport some goods if you want. We got just some nice detailing, like these look like life preservers, the anchor on the side, we get his name, a little bit of plastic right here. I know nothing about Bulstrode in real life, so I can't tell you what that's supposed to represent, but nonetheless, a very cool detail. And then we're kind of looking underneath here, this red part, I'm guessing, is supposed to represent Bulstrode like at the water line. So I guess technically, we aren't supposed to see what's underneath here. I think maybe the model would look a little, I'm trying to imagine it all black. Maybe that would have looked a little bit better, but at the same time, this is a very nice piece of Bulstrode here, because it's like if he were ever in dry dock or something and sitting up, yeah, you would kind of see underneath, and yeah, the stuff that, you know, you don't normally see when it's underwater usually is painted a different color. So I actually think that's pretty accurate. Bulstrode, what a name as well. I mean, just he's just an interesting guy. But yeah, we got like this cream colored, not the insert here, the outside, and then also his cab, which has continued to have some great detailing. He's got some stuff there. Maybe these are supposed to represent areas where you would tie on a rope and either he would get towed or he would pull somebody else. That's just a guess. But yeah, guys, I barely know anything about trains, and you can bet that I don't know anything about barges. But my point is, this version of Bulstrode's very nice. A lot of people joke about this. He's actually decently heavy. You can kind of pick him up, and I wouldn't say he's a weapon, but he's probably the most sturdy of wooden railway objects out there. He's got a little bit of weight to him, like I said, but he's still really nice, and I love his length. Because in the TV series episode, which is based on a railway series story, I believe of the same name, Bulstrode's pretty long. Maybe not this long. And maybe the only critique that I have is Bulstrode, you can kind of tell in the episode, he's a little bit wider. But I do enjoy this very kind of slick, narrow thing. It's very reminiscent of the Sodor Bay cargo ship, and I really like it. So Bulstrode was sold for a number of years, but he was never sold by himself. I think Bulstrode, if there was an option to buy Bulstrode individually, I think he would have sold well. My reasoning is that he's an interesting character, to me at least, and I mean, I can't be the only one out there that thinks Bulstrode is interesting. I'm thinking if you released him individually around 2002, 2003, he would have done fine, but Learning Curve would have had to have designed some packaging to hold him, maybe given him a couple pieces of cargo. But you're thinking, Bulstrode's not that interesting, you know, he doesn't have any wheels or anything, and I'm like, yeah. That's what I was originally thinking. I was like, you know what, there's a reason why they stuck Bulstrode in all these sets and packs is because they probably, you know, were trying to get rid of them. But I tell you what, you put some cargo cars in there or something like that, I think he could sell. And my reasoning is, you know, you think of all the roadway vehicles that they sold for a number of years that didn't have a face, like the fire crew, the power crew, the like the roadway cleaner crew, all those pieces of, you know, roadway vehicles, they didn't have faces, and granted, they did not sell well, but you put a face on something, and it instantly becomes more attractive to the buyer, at least in the Thomas world. So I think Bulstrode could have held his own, honestly, if he was sold by himself. So when Mattel took over the line, I mean, I didn't think we'd ever see another version of Bulstrode again, but here they were to surprise us. We got this version of Bulstrode. Oh my gosh, guys, look how massive it is. It's not in focus. There we go. Look how massive it is. It's huge. It's giant. Oh wait, it's really tiny. This was sold in the Brendam Bay Shipping Company set as an exclusive item. And boy, guys, this is just a sad state of affairs. It is just not looking too good for old Bulstrode here, unfortunately. First of all, let's address a really obvious thing, the face. Bulstrode has suddenly forgotten about being, you know, the disagreeable barge that he is, and now he's suddenly happy. So he has the happy face syndrome that afflicts Diesel, Diesel 10, you know, Iron Airy, Iron Burr. I mean, basically any grumpy character that's ever been in Thomas, eventually they get switched over to the light side. They go from the dark side to the light side. We still have this nice red along the bottom here, but look at the detailing, how stripped back it is. The life preserver, you can't even tell those are supposed to be life preservers. They're not even colored in. They look like wheels, honestly. We still got his name on the front. And if you can tell by the glare, this is all plastic. This wood cab area is wood. But everything else is plastic. And guys, it is just not a good item. This is probably one of the poorest Thomas Wooden Railway items I think I've ever come across. It's really sad because this Bulstrode back here is awesome. And, you know, you'd think as time goes on we should get better and better toys. Well, for a number of reasons we don't, but especially with the way the things are in the Thomas land, merchandise land, that just doesn't seem to be the case. Bulstrode's kind of cab area has also changed. It's gone from like that cream color, now it's just white. If I bring in Bulstrode here, look at the size difference too. There is pretty much no redeemable quality about this Bulstrode here. I cannot think of one nice thing to say other than, you know, big Bulstrode and little Bulstrode can hang out. It almost fits in Bulstrode's hole there. But the size difference, I mean, Bulstrode here is almost twice the size as this Bulstrode. This is made out of wood. This is cheap plastic. Hopefully it won't break. We don't have any of the detailing up here. On the back, look, you know, at least we had a life preserver, a couple windows. That's all gone. This is definitely it's a fictional version of Bulstrode because we haven't seen Bulstrode in the TV series. We haven't seen him in the model series for, you know, close to 20 years. So it's yeah, this is definitely just Mattel's like, oh, well, if we were going to reintroduce Bulstrode, like, into the TV series or something like that, you know, he would, I'm guarantee you he would not be this small. I'm guessing he would be, in the TV series, he'd be pretty wide and stuff. But yeah, he'd have the happy face and everything. Let's count the windows, actually. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 6 windows apiece. Oh, what? This is super fun fact. You want to hear? Oh, no. Not that fun fact. Yeah, I was going to say, look, the doors are on opposite sides, and then I actually used my eyes and could see that, hey, look, they're on both sides. So yeah, this version of Bulstrode, pretty darn awful. If this was sold by itself, I would not buy this in a million years. It's so funny, though, in that Brendan Bay shipping company set, it's like one of the highlights of the set. It's included up front in that little viewing area of the box with Thomas. So it's like, the big thing is like, oh, you're getting Bulstrode and he's exclusive and blah, blah, blah. I should really, this is just a normal screw, I should really take a screwdriver and unscrew this and see. I'm guessing this would just pop off, but it's still kind of fun. But wait, guys, if you thought that was bad, there's more. We have a wood version of Bulstrode. And I don't know what you guys are going to think about this one. Personally, I'll just tell you right off the bat, I do not like this as well. This is still a horrible model. It's just really, really different to the old versions of Bulstrode. First of all, look at this. This is, I mean, Bulstrode fits in here comfortably. I mean, it's not even a question. So we have a lot more space to work with in Bulstrode's hull than we do on the Learning Curve one. The problem is once again, it's all plastic. We got another screw here. I should really unscrew this. If you didn't catch Bulstrode's name up top, it's printed in giant letters on the bottom, just so you know. One of the many things that I do not like about the wood products is these wood shavings, the flakes that they put into the plastic. It makes it look cheap. It's like you were making plastic molds and the guy next to you is on like a power saw or something cutting up the wood bodies, and it's getting all in your stuff and you're just like, oh, I'm too lazy to fix it. So yeah, I do not like this look. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Some people think it's like a natural wood like aesthetic, like, oh, this is a new merchandise range, it should have stuff like this, blah, blah, blah. I think this model could be improved immediately if the wood shavings were taken out. Yeah, it's plastic, but hey, at least it's all black and it's not like somebody spilled a snack in here and you got leftover crumbs or something. What's interesting, we kind of have an indented bottom here. I bet this flows pretty well, looks pretty level. And yes, you do have kind of this indented bottom here. And I can think of no other reason for this, because the other two didn't. Oh, well, this guy had it. This Bulstrode did not. This guy does have it. I can think of no other reason for this in case you really wanted to throw Bulstrode in the bathtub or something like that to see if he would float. I'm sure there's a video out there on YouTube of wood Bulstrode going for a swim. Speaking of wood Bulstrode, yeah, we're talking about the face here. Again, super happy face. I tell you what, this is actually the better happy face. That's not really working for me. There's something going on there, and it's not good. But window-wise, yeah, we got the same amount of windows. But again, we are back to this white color, and this is so small. Probably my biggest gripe with this model is the cab area. It's not even a cab. There's windows. There's no door. Who knows how the operator gets in here? Look at how chunky this one was. Look at this. It is less than half the size of the old cab. And in a real life barge, a cab would not be that small. Yes, you need to have an area for your cargo and stuff that you're transporting. But this is, I mean, you take a look at one of those wood figures, you know, and they're not the you know, the wooden railway ones, the plastic wood ones. You're telling me that can fit in there, even in our, you know, mythical fantasy Toyland here. I'm going to call you out on that. However, maybe a step in the right direction. Our lifesavers, are back, and they've been fully painted. So hey, they're actually in kind of that safety color. Even Bulstrode over here, he just had these normal safety colored rings. So yeah, I still do not like this. You know, hey, high praise for getting the rings right. No, I'm not that type of guy, everybody. This is a really bad version of Bulstrode. It sits really low to the ground. It looks like you would imagine putting a couple packages on here and imagine it being swamped like right away. At least this Bulstrode and this Bulstrode are a little bit up off the ground. We kind of have some railings here on the side to prevent any spillage. But this Bulstrode's just like, nah, I'm going to hit some waves and all the cargo is going to go flying and it's just going to be a mess for somebody to clean up. There is I do not have the painted wood version because let me tell you what's different. You see all that exposed wood all the way around? That's it. That's painted in now. And it was not worth it. It was not worth it to go out and spend 50 bucks on a brand new cranky and a brand new wood Bulstrode in that Cranky at the Docks pack or whatever it's called just for the sake of this review. It was not worth it for me. So imagine there's a fourth version and oh look, it's exactly the same except you put them at a distance you wouldn't be able to tell that this one's not even painted. I mean considering Bulstrode's not painted, he actually does have a fair amount of paint on him. It's just all these lines and stuff that you see here, that's all painted. But spoiler alert, that's what painted wood Bulstrode looks like. Let me see here. I got some cargo pieces that I wanted to see how everything fits. So first of all, clear winner in my eyes is this version of Bulstrode, without a contest. If you actually think these versions of Bulstrode are better, I would welcome your comments below, because I cannot imagine somebody trying to defend these two versions of Bulstrode. They are just not good. But we got your standard cargo pieces here. We got this Sodor shipping container, which is just your standard cargo piece. It fits in cargo cars. It can be picked up by magnetic objects. We have this smaller one that's not as common, but was most famously sold with Lorry 1. And let's just see, let's just see how these fit. I'm just making sure. Yeah, I don't think I don't have a wood cargo piece near me, but they're the same size as this. So let's bring in first Bulstrode. This is pretty obvious. Look how snugly that fits in there. I can move this around, and because of the little ridges and the indent, I can move this around. My cargo is going to shake, rattle, and roll, but unless I do something crazy, it's not going to roll away. This cargo piece is a little bit different. It's going to slide around in this indented area. But since there is a little bit of an indented area, and we have, this kind of, storage space that is supposed to hold packages like this, it's not going to go flying or anything like that. So I give a thumbs up, if you can see that, thumbs up for that Bulstrode. Let's bring in this Bulstrode. All right, that fits, but do you see the problem here? Bulstrode, nor his operator, if you want to call him a driver, can see anything. And yeah, you're like, oh, it's a toy, doesn't matter. Well, let's be serious here, okay? I already don't like this toy, but you stick in your normal piece of cargo, and now this Bulstrode is on a crash course to disaster. I mean, if the windows were above, you could maybe argue that it's like, oh, Bulstrode doesn't control himself, blah, blah, blah. Not only this, but that is right on his face. And that's another thing. This is just printed on. We got like a plastic face here and a plastic face here. But this Bulstrode, it's nothing. That's lazy. I may have to rethink my thinking of the worst Bulstrode face, because that's pretty terrible. Good news for Bulstrode. It actually looks like we've scaled things down. If I put that cargo car in there and put that cargo piece there, this cargo piece there, it can sit up at the front more than towards the back. Hey, it actually looks like, scale-wise, that's what this thing is. It looks like something that is not meant for the Thomas Wooden Railway range. This looks like something for take along, take and play, adventures, push along, whatever you want to call it. I know there was a Trackmaster Bulstrode that I think had wheels and which was much bigger. I know there's a Play Rail one. But yeah, I mean, scaled down, that looks okay. However, most people do not have this piece of cargo. They have this one. And that is no good right there. So we're going to call a fail on that one. We're going to call that a thumbs down. Let's bring in wood Bulstrode. All right, there's some opportunity here. We actually have the most amount of, I'd say, horizontal space to store packages than we do over this Bulstrode. Because here's the thing, that fits there. You can try to squeeze that there, but I do this in my series. You stack them vertically. This Bulstrode, we actually got plenty of room. We could put another box right there and another box right here. You could fit 4 horizontally. That doesn't even count when you start to stack them. So I will admit, even though this Bulstrode looks terrible, for a barge, this is actually what it would be. You know, when you think of like a giant shipping container or something, this is what you think of. So yes, this Bulstrode is able to hold more packages. However, you have to think back to the way this is sold. It's sold with cranky in like a pack, and it comes with 3 of these styles of cargo pieces. So the weird thing is, okay, that will fit this way. The problem is these are not super common. Man, you could fit a bunch of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these that way. That fits pretty nicely in there. That's very aesthetically pleasing, I will say. This one is just a little bit too large, so you got to put it this way. So, carrying capacity, this Bulstrode actually wins, but for simplistic sake and for playtime, this Bulstrode is way better. Yes, it'd be fun to stack up all your cargo on the Bulstrode here and throw them in the tub, and you know, yeah, but this looks way more natural to me personally. So I'm coming to the end of this review. As you can tell, I love this version of Bulstrode. I love Bulstrode as a character, and this wooden railway model hit it out of the park. The following 2, however, did not. We have a major size issue here. We have a plastic issue. This isn't even an actual face. This has just been printed on very lazily. And this one, not only do we have leftover wood shavings stuck in our plastic, the face is off. The colors are a little bit different, and I feel like I could, you know, I'm not saying this plastic is cheap, but given enough pressure, you know, you bring out some heavy-duty scissors, you could cut this in half. So these are big fails in my opinion. I mean, these are some of the worst Thomas Wooden Railway items I've ever seen, and this is wood, so you can kind of excuse it because everything wood makes is bad. But man, Fisher-Price and Mattel for a while there, you know, they did all the engines really nice, and there were some great destinations and sets. But this Bulstrode is a big fat miss in my opinion. So we're going to put this back there because they're second-rate citizens. We're going to bring back the Bulstrode we all know and love. And once again, you guys know exactly where I stand on this whole thing. I would love for anybody who not to just, you know, get into an argument, but anybody, I would love for people to try to defend these just because I'm interested. Am I missing something? Is there something else going here that I'm not understanding? To me, it's a pretty clear-cut winner. Who knows if we'll get more Bulstrode models in the future. I think he's a very interesting character and wouldn't mind him, you know, appearing more and there being more merchandise, but it has to be good merchandise because I would much rather have this be the only version of Bulstrode than to have these exist because this nails the size, the length, the face, the color, the weight perfectly. The ones in the back there, like I said, especially that Fisher-Price Mattel Bulstrode from 2013, that is one of the worst products I think I've ever laid my hands on, unfortunately. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to think. And I think I'll wrap this video up. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.